Hey there, welcome to Contracts and Chaos. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Brenna, and we're here to tell you that you are not alone in the mayhem of this real estate industry.
We're keeping it real and sharing our stories, strategies, and successes in today's real estate world.
So come join us every Tuesday while we talk contracts and chaos. The wiggles out. Yeah,
We got
okay.
the wiggles
We
out.
are done Q1 officially. It's time for Q2.
Yes, and we are recording this like first day
On
of
time.
April. Yeah, we are
Yes.
not. This will probably post later, but we are.
I think I'll shuffle it and post it next week.
Okay.
So it's not like a month
Right?
into
Yeah,
it, you know?
Because other people might not be, maybe if they started their Q1 a week late or they don't do it with the calendar year, they do it with like a business year or something.
Yep.
I'm down for that. I am down
Yep.
for that.
I think that's what we'll do. But
Yeah. So if you guys have listened to previous episodes, Brenna and I, you know that Brenna and I, we use a 12-week year to plan our business. One of us is better at following it than the other. One of us has had a really weird year and has just struggled with following through with things. But we wanted to quick review of the concept and the principles, and then we'll tell you how we did with our Q1 goals and what our Q2 goals are and the tactics we're using to achieve them.
Yeah, because I was at a coffee meetup not very long ago, a couple weeks ago, and it still shocks me how many people have never even heard of the 12-week
Right?
year.
I
And I'm
feel like it's one of those
what?
things like when I have agents come into the firm, that's going to be in their gift pack, like
Yeah,
copy of the
here,
12-week year.
like read this book. It's so good. I mean, for me, it's just I have a squirrel brain, so breaking that year up into smaller bite-sized chunks is like so nice. But I do feel like it's like this like unknown secret that I didn't know that we were keeping
Right?
because I thought it was like, isn't it a bestseller?
I think
Isn't
so.
there
It's got to be up
million
there
people?
with like Atomic
Yikes.
Habits and other
Mhm.
like I'm trying to think of the other one.
Or maybe that's just where I group it in my brain that
Maybe.
like if you've read one of them, you have to have read all of them.
Right.
So
And I just feel like not every, but so many other agents or coaches tell you or have told me like use this. This is what I use.
mhm.
Or they use some form of it.
Yep. And listen, this isn't just for real estate agents. If you're listening, hey, Alyssa's mom.
Right. Hi, Mom.
If you are self-employed, if heck, you can use these 12-week year goals and concepts for personal development,
I have an
spiritual,
I have an
whatever
example
it
that
is.
Mom will relate to.
Great. Go ahead.
My mom is on the board of a nonprofit that
Mhm.
helps, and Mom chime in at some point and correct me if I'm wrong, but it helps make sure no kids in the county I grew up in go hungry because there was a horrible abuse case and long story, but this could be something like a nonprofit would use. Like, hey, we have
Yep.
these goals for the year. Let's chunk it out so
Mhm.
that we know, okay, we're focusing on this now. I think this applies personal life, business life, nonprofits, definitely things you could use.
And I have to tell you, I don't use it as much as I probably could on the personal side. Usually, my 12-week goals are very business
Right.
oriented, professional oriented. But say, like, if you're gonna run a 5K this summer, like, I'm gonna walk a mile, I'm gonna run a mile. You can break this up into these chunks, but definitely get the book if you haven't read it already. If you've heard it already, just come bear with us for this little
Right.
refresher. We all need it. It's
Yes.
a great reminder. And if you forgot that Q2 started, here you go.
Here you go. You are ready
Here's
to
your
rock and
reminder.
roll. So the 12-week year, it shortens instead of waiting for the whole year because there's a psychological aspect of if you give yourself a year to get something done, you're not going to do it till Q4. Like it just, how many times have you heard agents go, oh my God, I had a goal to sell 15 houses this year. I've sold 5. So now I have to sell 10 in the month of December.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck. Because if you
Yep.
haven't done the back work, may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Have you seen the t-shirt that says like I put the pro in procrastinate? Because that's me.
I need that one. No, I like the
I,
one that's 43560, and then underneath it says IYKYK. It's the square footage of an acre.
It is the square
I'm like, I want that one. It's so real estate nerdy.
It's
I'm like, I
and
want that
nobody would
shirt.
ever. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you have
Right?
no
People
idea.
be like, but I
Um,
think it's a great conversation starter because if they
it
don't
sure
know,
is.
I hope they're
They're
like,
gonna ask.
what is
I hope
that?
so. Yeah, the procrastination thing I feel is like deep seated in me. I was homeschooled growing up, right? So, my mom would have our lesson plans done Sunday, right? And they were broken out perfectly into day by day things, but everything had to be done before Friday, right?
Right.
Guess who did 97% of her shit on Friday?
Or Thursday night.
Me.
Yes.
I would be because I'm like, yeah, I can get it done. And I work, I have to tell you, so well when there's 30 minutes left.
Yes.
You
Girl,
know,
I can get my hair and makeup done in 5 minutes if I need to. You give me 2 hours, I'm gonna do it in the
it's
last
going to
five
take two
minutes. Like,
hours. Well, and
yeah.
it's just, it's one of those things. Like, I feel like some days, like, I'm like, oh, I have to pick the kids up. I have to leave this house in 30 minutes. I get so much done in those 30 minutes compared to the whole day. But that's exactly what this compares to as far as the year is concerned. If you give yourself 12 months, you're going to be right at the end here
Right.
waiting. So if we break it up into 12 weeks, treat each week as a month, break those goals down into bite-sized pieces. This goes back to how do you eat a whale, one bite at a time. And it's way easier to chunk those down into tactical, immediate things that you can do this week versus just I want to have this done by the end of 2025.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And it has
mhm,
clear, there's specific things. So, like, we're going to set clear goals. They'll be specific, measurable, and actionable for the whole 12 weeks.
mhm,
You'll break those goals down into weekly and daily tasks that align with that goal. Um, you're going to track regularly. So, like, I usually check in on Friday and be like, okay, did I get everything? Or, like, I have a daily, when I build this out, what I also do is build a daily checklist. Okay, Mondays I do this, Tuesdays I do this. And that helps me, okay, boxes are checked. So even if it's not at the correct time that day, or maybe a Tuesday thing gets bumped to a Wednesday for some reason, my boxes get checked.
yeah,
Which
it's
we've
a
talked
huge
about
thing.
time blocking before.
Mhm.
Huge principle in this. Yes, you can
Yes, and
shuffle.
I just
You
showed you my
did.
time block
You
for
did.
today.
I don't really have I do have time blocking. Well, I have stuff scheduled today, but I one of my blocks today is to build the lists for the Q2. So that
Mhm.
will go in there and it'll all get time blocked in today. But there's also an accountability element, which is what I love. So if you were doing this in like a corporate setting, there's a formal check in process. Brenna and I kind of like when we remember, which day one, we're back on this.
Yeah, sometimes we're really good at it, and
Right.
sometimes
Sometimes life
we're
just
not.
happens.
Mhm.
But we either text our daily schedule or we'll take a picture of our calendar and shoot that over and be like, these are my tasks today.
Mhm.
Um, we don't really check in with like if we completed them, which is I think an element maybe we need to add is like at the beginning of that text, okay, yesterday I did get this done, but I needed to
Yep.
shuffle this. But
Yeah, because I
establishing
think that keeps it really honest and like honest with yourself, but also honest with your accountability partner. So, and I don't think you saw yesterday's, but I'm supposed to build out like an email sequence for my mommy and me photo shoot that's coming up. I didn't get it done. So that's rolled over
right,
to today, which is like it's on my 12-week year to be done this week, right? But I was like, I'm going to get it done yesterday. Didn't happen. And giving yourself like the space and the grace to be able to pivot and make those adjustments is important. But I do think we should be like, did you actually
right.
send
Well,
those
and the first time
postcards?
I did a 12-week year was with a larger group of women. And
Mm-hmm.
we did every day, every morning we had that check in of, okay, this was what yesterday's was. Did I get it done? This is what today's is. And I do think it helped because, yeah, I can say I did it, but if I'm not telling you whether or not I did do it, where's the actual accountability? Okay,
I would
so
say,
we're
oh
adding
heck,
that to our morning text.
yeah, I
All
can,
right.
oh heck, tell you like this beautiful plan of everything that I'm gonna get done, but is it actually getting
Right?
done is the thing, and that's why like a planner, a tracker, is so important because it does even if you don't have an accountability partner, if you're doing this by yourself, like it really does make a difference. Whether like we've used Trello cards, you can put checklists in there, so it'll show you
Yep.
your progress, that kind of thing. I actually got a spreadsheet
You
for
got
this
a
quarter.
spreadsheet?
I got a spreadsheet.
My anti-spreadsheet friend.
I know. I know.
Did you
And
like
then this,
build it or did you like buy one somewhere?
oh no, I got it off Etsy.
For 12-week year specifically?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's very cool.
But yes,
I'll
so
show you.
okay, back on track. So it keeps you, why this works, it keeps you focused on a short track. So like when I was in project management, we would call them sprints. And sprints were a certain amount of time. And it's same idea, different name. We're getting a certain part of the project done in this time. The overall project has this much time, but a sprint, so the same thing, 12 weeks is a sprint. And it reduces that burnout because you're not focused on this giant picture. You're breaking it down.
Right.
So like they always say, what's the easiest way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
We're carving that elephant up into quarters, and it's one quarter at a time. And the feedback gives you adjustments. So like if you're checking in and being like, this really is not producing, then you're not wasting a whole year doing something that's not giving you the response or the return on investment that you need from it. You can pivot.
Right.
We were on a break.
Which is okay. Like I think it was last year that I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do YouTube," right? And I did YouTube for the first quarter and I was like, "Listen, this
Mm-mm.
is not building my business right now. It works so well for other people, and maybe it's because they're outsourcing, and maybe it's because they have more time and no kids, and
Right.
whatever that case was. But it wasn't building my business, and I was taking a lot of time away from building my business trying to build a YouTube video.
Right.
So it's like, listen, I did it for the quarter. I'm not going to do it for the next quarter,
Right.
and that, but you can, breaking it down in these chunks allows you to reflect on what's working and what's not working before the end of the year when you crashed and burned.
Right.
You can make those adjustments along the way.
Because it also it avoids that illusion that you have plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, no, I have 12 weeks. So it
Which we just finished 12
I
weeks, and let
know.
me tell you, it wasn't very long.
No. No. This 12 weeks flew. Ugh.
Well, you were sick for half of it, so that's why.
You know what? Honestly, like I met with a new coach yesterday and he threw that out there as a what's the worst that'll happen? You'll get like sick for 2 months. I was like, don't curse me.
Don't say that.
I was like, he was like, why? What happened? I said, that already happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
The first month I was down and out and I spent the second month trying to get back and then I was sick for like another week in between. Please don't. But this helps with that because there were things I could do while I was sick. I wasn't doing all my things. I'll be honest with you because we're going to go over our goals in about 10 seconds.
Yep.
But I can look back and I can say, be honest with myself, I didn't do the things. I didn't. Be completely honest. No, this quarter has been a shit show. And so let's just jump into it.
Okay, let's do it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter to me. You tell me.
Okay. I'll go. So my goal is to have 4 closings or listings, which actually that's what this PDF says. But I do remember when Brenna and I recorded this, when I looked at the numbers I needed to try to hit elite, it was going to need to be more like 9.
Mm-hmm.
I did not hit that. Not even close. I've had 3 and 1 was a referral out. I do have 2 clients under contract right now, but they won't close till Q2.
Mm-hmm.
And I am doing a bit of revamping on everything. But I did not start my monthly newsletter. Actually, that used to be something I did farming, and my farming team fell apart. So I've been trying to figure that one out.
It's been a heck of a first quarter
Let me
for
tell you.
Alyssa.
It is. I did do
But
it.
we are growing.
We are growing,
And we are
and we are
changing.
learning.
And yeah,
I also found that I need to learn how to edit long form video better or I need to outsource it before I commit to like a weekly YouTube video. I did
listen,
not
that was my
realize.
problem.
Yeah, like we both have the same editing software. It is a very professional software, and I was not ready for that. So I think I need to learn that, or I need to outsource it. So I did not put a YouTube up. I did do a giveaway. Meh, wasn't super successful. I have been following a lot of what the listing leads says to do. I do need to be in that more. Um, and one of those is like I'm gonna jump harder into expireds and FSBOs.
Mm-hmm.
I did do a quarterly pop by for my clients. I actually mailed it. I didn't No, I did a delivered one at the beginning of the year, but I also did a mailed one for St. Patrick's Day. Um, I followed through. The deal of the week email went out every week. I did
That's
a
awesome.
Yeah, I did a couple Facebook ads. Not quite the original strategy of them looking organic. It was more for listings and specific client needs.
Mm-hmm.
I did one at the end of last year that wasn't Q1 that hit okay. So I do think there is if I stuck to it. Um, I did some of my videos, not as many as I used to do, not as many as I expected to do. I did continue with my community outreach. That was something I used to do with the farming team, and I still stuck it out on my own. So I did do the teacher of the month every month. And I did stick with my closing donations. So actually I need to announce the most recent one. Um, so every time I close, I make a donation to a nonprofit and I announce that. Um, I have looked into building a team. It will not be happening in 2025. I can tell you that. If it does happen 2025, it will be maybe formed in Q4, but not active until Q1 of 2026. If I do it. There are discussions happening. There are things happening behind the scenes, but nothing that's going to happen anytime soon. So I'm still doing my research there. So I don't feel like I failed that one. I did, I have been working on my processes. Like I put everything back into Trello. I've been following that. I'm working on that some more now. Still reading more books. I have not finished The Real Estate Agent because I had to finish Buy Back Your Time. Maybe we should make that our Q2 book. Have you ever read that book?
Which one is that?
Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Yes. It was the first book that was given to me as a as a new realtor. That was the first book that was given to me.
Yeah, I've had it. It's been bouncing around. It's on so the bookshelf behind me, that's the reading list for this year. That's why they're on that shelf so they're right there. I don't have to
I
look for
read
them.
that one, and the one that I actually liked better was The One Thing by Gary Keller and what's his name? I can't think
I
of
could
it.
tell you it's right there.
I like that book too.
It's the font is too small. I can't read it from here.
That's
I have that.
okay.
That's on the list. I started that at one point, need to finish it. So, um, this is the one I definitely feel like I failed both of us on. We did not get our 250 podcast followers. I have been like when I comment on things, posting the link in like real estate groups, be like, hey, this episode is specific to what you're asking about. Or hey, I don't like come listen to us. It's not just a blasting it because that will get flagged as spam in some of those groups.
No, but we have to say too, like, and that was something that we both have focused on. And I've been sharing the link and doing like specific episode drops. If I see people in a real estate group that are asking about, oh, what about this? Oh, hey, we have an episode on that. Here's the
Yeah.
link.
Yeah. So
um,
I
and I
will
think our listens have what we say more than doubled in the last 90 days. So I think that there's definitely something to be said there for the effort that has been put in on both sides. But there's something like I was thinking the other day, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I don't follow a lot of them. Isn't
like,
that
oh, on
crazy?
social media.
Like no, not on social media, like on like Apple like podcasts.
Will you just search for them every time?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Not now because I followed several.
Right? Did you feel like a bad person? You were like, oh.
I did. It's like, gosh, we're trying to get people to follow our podcast, and I don't even follow our podcast.
Oh, see, if I didn't follow them, I'd forget to go listen to them. I have them all followed so that they just show up.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I like it. Like today, I had like four new podcasts like pop up that they're like, here you go, here's a new episode. And I was like, oh, look at that. That's so nice. But yes, you should definitely go follow the podcast if you don't. It's very,
well,
very nice, very convenient.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I
Well,
don't feel great about my 12 weeks. I definitely don't have the results I wanted, but an Oprah or Dr. Phil would say, every but negates the thing you said before it. So I guess I should say at the same time.
That's a good one. I like it at the same time.
I had a
That's good.
lot of shit thrown at me this quarter that I was not expecting. I didn't expect to be sick for a month. I didn't expect both of my marketing partners to walk away at the same time. Um, I didn't expect to take on a cat that, or for Mabel to get sick, which is something we haven't
Mm-hmm.
discussed on here yet. But I did not give up on myself.
And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
And say the I feel like people, when it starts to be like hard and starts to be bad, and then they're just like, oh well, here it goes. You
right.
know what I
Like
mean?
I'm
It's
done.
all gone.
I'm
It's
awful.
all gone to hell.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, and I think that this structure helps too, because right now I feel like you, and we talked about, a big decision that you made yesterday of starting this quarter, because you've already been like, okay, that's
Right.
Q1's over. It's done. Like I can't. Now we
Can't
have a
dwell
clean
on it.
slate. We have a fresh 90 days that we are sprinting.
Yep.
Because if you got stuck in that, like, yikes, my marketing partners are gone. Yikes, I didn't close what I wanted to. Yikes,
Yeah.
I,
That could snowball
people just
quickly.
get stuck. Yeah, people just get stuck. So
Yeah.
I do think that this also helps, like I say, a fresh mentality. Like, that didn't work. That sucked. Really am terrible at that. But now we're going to do something different and move forward. That's the biggest thing. You always have to keep moving forward, or else you're stuck. Um, Last quarter, I was hustling. I was
You
really,
girl.
I
Girl.
was trying. I really wanted to get that 9 transactions. I only closed 7,
Only.
but it is more than I've ever closed in Q1. I do have 2 that are under contract, but again, they'll close in the next couple of weeks. And still trying to like build out that pipeline, because that means that Q2 I am 11, and why it was 9 closings is because I was trying to get to elite
When does your
before
elite reset?
July
Oh,
1st.
you've got time. How many do you need?
I need 11.
11 between now and July.
Mm-hmm.
July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In 3 months, in 90
So you
days.
have 2 under
Yeah.
contract. So we need to get
Yeah.
9 more under contract and
Yeah.
closed in 9. You've got it.
Correct.
With the
Well, I
hustling you've
mean,
been doing, you've got this.
I'm hustling. I am going to continue the hustle. And here's the thing, like, I really, 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 really want to hit elite. But let's be honest. If I don't hit elite, am I gonna curl up in the corner and be like, "Oh my god, this sucks! Like, my business is terrible. I didn't hit it." No, because look at all of the big changes that I've made in this effort of hitting elite.
Right.
My email list, I wanted to get my What's New in Newton newsletter to 600 subscribers, which I did. We're at like 640 right now, which is great. I dug into my email list and cleaned out a huge amount. I think I texted you. I like deleted like 400 people.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these people, like, I had been emailing for the last like year or more and have never opened an email. And while that's like okay, I guess, I put them on an unopened list. So now when I'm sending emails out, I just don't include them, right? Because now my open rates are definitely going up. I feel like there has to be something in that algorithm that they're like, "Oh, she's sending it out to 1,200 people, but only
Right.
30% of them are even opening it." So my open rates have gone up, which is great. Still doing weekly emails, doing that monthly newsletter, which is cool. And I'm seeing people like reach out to me now and be like, "Hey, can you put this in next month's newsletter?"
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I like that. I was supposed to do a Galentine's event. I didn't end up really doing like a Galentine's event. I opted to partner with a local flower truck. She actually has a vintage little blue flower truck. We had it at the park. I invited a bunch of past clients and things like that. She was actually to get like walk up people at the park too. It was really cool. It was a make and take bouquet. They got to pick like 5 flowers and 3 pieces of greenery, and she arranged it all for them. And it was like $15,
Nice.
So it was super cool. We had a lot of fun doing that. Actually was trying to get her to help do this quarter's event, the Mommy and Me photo shoot, but May for her, between
Oh, I'm
weddings and
sure.
proms,
Yeah.
and like, I don't think I'm going to get a single flower from her, but that's okay. That's okay. Um, and that's really, we had the kid dates. That was the personal thing that I put on here. It was like I was hustling for those transactions, trying to build that email list, because it's one of the things that you own, like if
Mhm.
Facebook crashes, how are you going to reach your people? So those were the big things in that event. Those were my three, because they do tell you, like, don't pick 9 goals that you're trying
Nope.
to hustle for. Pick those ones that you're really really focused on. So those were my three. And this new quarter is pretty similar, but a few I'm focusing this quarter on more tracking individual action items more than the outcome, I guess, if that makes sense.
It does. And I think we'll talk about that when we go over your goals of what
Mhm.
that means to you.
Mhm. Because
So,
I think, I mean, I can do a billion different things to try to get, 11 transactions, but like what is the tactical items that, like, I want to do that I know will help, right?
so
Prospecting, of course, being one of them, but I feel like, so for example, February, I was like, oh, I'm going to do 20 her reports, right? By the end of the month. That's not bad. I can do that. Sure, I can. The first week, I did great. I did all 5 of them that week. And then I didn't send another one. So,
right. So let's go. Are you? That's all of your
yep,
Q1.
that's me. That's
Let's roll
done.
right into your Q2. That's a great
Okay.
transition there. So what I'm hearing is you're not as focused in Q2 on the outcome as you are the consistency with doing the things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because and we've talked about this before, I am a little squirrel brain, right? And the problem is sometimes I'm like, what was the thing that
Right.
got me this? You know? And we talked about this last year. We are coming at the end of this quarter, before the end of this quarter, my kids will be out of school,
Right.
you know? So I need something to be able to know for the summer schedule of me. If I can do these things, these items, I know it builds business, right? I know that this will still move things the way that I want them to go, because now I'm going to have kids home full time. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah, no, and it does because that is what your life is going to transition to the end of May
Mhm.
through what, beginning of August, mid August.
Yeah,
So,
they go back to school like the end of August. Like, it's just like the
right.
week before my
So
birthday. So,
the end, so half of Q2 and most of Q3 for you, you have kids home. So,
hmm
yeah, I would transition to being okay, I need to be more focused on the consistency so that I know end of Q3, Q4, and beginning of Q1, that's where I focus on hitting the numbers because that's when I don't have kids full time and I
hmm
can focus more on hitting that specific number versus the tactics. Makes total sense to me for you to transition that way during between the
that's what I'm
quarters.
trying to do. So, this quarter, again, I have 11 transactions on my on. That's the big goal, because that will get me to elite if I get it before July 1st. So that's the transaction number that I'm shooting for.
Well, and
And
that counts.
the
Remember, and we've had this conversation outside the podcast, that also referrals out.
mhm,
So if you can send referrals out,
that
that counts
close.
towards that. So you don't personally, so that could also be a focus of, okay, let me build a referral business
Who
too.
do I know? Right. And that's on here. So,
Right.
I have 3 different targets with individual goals that I'm working on. And this is a new planner that I have
And like, yeah,
specifically
we're
for
definitely
12
going to
week
talk about
years.
this later.
So my consistent lead gen is the her boxes or the her high note presentations. I get really good feedback on those. And I know we've talked about, like, I use HomeBot with Karen. So, and I can see people that are like checking their home value, or that are interacting every month. Like, I have an 80 something percent open rate on almost 300 houses in HomeBot. So that's
That
huge.
is
So
huge.
if I start, and I obviously have their email address because that's how HomeBot sent out. So if I have, like, do a digital high note presentation for their, like, home equity report and email it to them,
Hmm.
that's another prospecting thing. I'm supposed to do one of those Monday through Friday. So 5 her reports every week.
So is that Just so I understand, a box and a video, or one or the other every day?
One or the other.
Okay.
One or the other. And then I'm working on prospecting a lot of new construction. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's in my area, it's booming right
Yeah.
now. So why not take advantage of that? Do I love a lot of like the new construction sometimes? Not necessarily, but if you're prospecting those are leads, whether they end up buying new construction or not.
Well,
You know.
and there's a great way to turn that, like once you've sold a couple,
Hmm.
into a long-term business in that neighborhood if you do it
Of
well.
course, exactly, exactly.
Yep.
And then weekly lead magnets, again, could be new construction, could be local things, that kind of thing. But really trying to dive into that Facebook ad world a little bit. And gonna make 10 new referral connections. So that I have the event that I'm going to here in a couple of weeks. Working on, I've been diving into more like Redfin data, like where people are relocating here from, to try to make connections in those specific areas. Working on like a relocation guide, not necessarily relocation, but like a Catawba County, like
Mm-hmm. Like
here's
a
some
moving
cool
to, like what
stuff.
you should know if you're thinking of
Mm-hmm.
coming here.
Yep, that kind of thing. And more like local content, so putting out like coffee shops or that kind of thing. Just to, again, we have a sweet little spot here.
You do. I love your area. It's a little too rural for me, but I do
I
love it
love
up
it.
there.
I love it. I love it. And the weekly coffee meetups, like in my mom's group, not just the real estate ones, but like Thursday, I'm supposed to go to a little coffee shop here in town, and 3 or 4 people should be joining. We'll see.
Nice.
But that's the first big goal, is that those 11
And
transactions.
I think all
So,
of those things, I just wrote yours down, so I'll organize it on my end too. So I'm gonna be
mhm.
like, "Yo, girl,
Yeah, I saw
make it."
your nice little like sheet. It's like so
You want
pretty.
me to
I'm
send
like,
you
I
that
gotta
template?
get her. It's so nice. But
Because if I
I've
don't,
just
it's gonna go on a
written it out.
post-it note, and then that post-it note's gonna disappear because the dog ate it. Like she ate the scissors yesterday. Like
No, I hear
that's how
you.
my
I hear
life
you.
works.
Do you want to do one of your? How many goals do you have, or do you want me to do all of mine?
Go through yours, and then we'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is my Q2 event, which is the Mommy and Me photo shoot. This is the 3rd year that I've been doing it. OMG, it's my favorite thing every year. It really is. I've closed 2 deals from it, so that's cool. I'm gonna keep doing it. I have to. So I just have like the tactics like broken down on this one, like nailing down the date and the photographer. Trying to get like a sponsor this year for maybe like a little swag giveaway for the moms, like eye masks or a bath bomb or something like that.
Right.
Last year we had like chapstick and a couple of things that local moms had made and like gave us to give away. I really wanted to have the flower truck there, but say we would have to do it in July at this point.
Or maybe later. I mean, wedding season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Maybe she's never available until winter again.
Right.
But that's fine. And this is just like really diving into my like 5 mile famous thing too. So once I have the graphics done this week, then I'm gonna personally invite people first, like past clients and
Mm-hmm.
things, and then that opt-in will go out. I have a email, like not a drip, but like essentially a sequence, right? That, oh, you've signed up, the date's going to be released, the countdown, whatever, here it's coming, and then the signups will open, that because they are limited. Like I can't do free photos for 500 people.
No.
I can't.
Because how,
um
remind me, do you pay her by the hour?
it's a we work out a rate, like a flat rate
Right.
for her time. Where she makes her extra money is she takes more. I pay for 3 edited images for the
Per
family.
client. Okay.
She takes way more than 3 in their 10 or 15-minute slot. And then she'll send them their album. She'll be like, here are your 3 ones, or your 3 free ones. Here are the additional shots that I took. And then they can order prints off of her website.
Nice. Okay.
So she can make a little bit more money on that as well. So that sequence will be done. That'll be going out this week because we're looking at, it'll be just before Mother's Day. In years past, we've done it like the very beginning of Q2, so she could have the pictures back before Mother's Day.
Right.
But with both of our schedules, that was not happening this
Right.
year. So it's just going to be like around Mother's Day, and they'll get them in a couple weeks later.
Well, and I kind of like that because, like, if a family's tight on money or they're busy too, like this gives them a Mother's Day thing to appreciate their
Hmm.
mom. So they could go get lunch after or, hang out at the park or wherever it is. Like I like that it's closer to Mother's Day.
Oh, somebody in a Facebook group last week was like, I only had whatever 10 people. Well, how many people saw that you were organizing that though?
Right.
Like I had 10 people at the wrapping party that I did this past winter. But you know how many people still talk about it?
Right. Or like
Way more than the 10 people that went.
even open houses. I've
Hmm.
had two where like no one showed up. But you know
Hmm.
what? Everyone on my social media saw that I was running open houses,
Hmm.
that I was
And
doing
your name's
something
out
with my
there,
business.
your
So,
contact information's out there, that you're doing something cool for the community specifically for this event.
yep.
Like, that's awesome. Um, the third one is a big one, and I'm really hopeful about it. I'm really excited. It's gonna happen eventually. I know that we've talked about like I'm gonna get a beach house, but um, Travis doesn't want to buy something that far away, so I'm digging more into short-term rental options here.
I like
And
it.
as like a, because it makes sense.
Well,
Like
and
where
get
we
your
are,
feet
the
wet
beach
close
is
to
like,
home.
yeah, exactly. And something like I can manage, have more hands on because I'm not going to be I would love to drive back and forth to Topsail 7 times a
Right.
month, but I'm not going to,
Right.
So he's right. Need to do something a little bit closer. But that's something this quarter that I would love to have
I think it's a
wrapped up.
great idea.
Oh my God, I have like a Pinterest board of Christmas things for short term. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be awful, quite
Right.
frankly. But
It
I'm so
won't. It'll be
excited about
great.
it.
It'll be, and like
Um,
I have my mom,
mhm.
I have no ownership, but we run an Airbnb in a small town in the middle of nowhere. And we aren't booked every week, but we just hit our 1 year anniversary and my mom was nervous same week. Like, who's gonna rent a house in the middle of freaking nowhere?
Right.
We're booked pretty steadily. Like
That's
pretty
awesome.
steadily. So you
That's
should be
awesome. I
good.
completely forgot that your mom had you guys ran an
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb. So
Yep.
do you handle all of that like online stuff or does your mom?
Yes. Um,
Great. Okay.
so
We'll have to get
my
coffee.
yeah, my sister handles all the cleaning. My brother-in-law's in charge of maintenance unless it's something big. Um, and then I monitor all of the online stuff because I live with my phone in my hand. My mom doesn't.
Hmm.
And there have been a couple times I'm like, yo, wake up. Whoever's there is bugging us at 11 o'clock at night. And I don't know what like, I can see, but I don't know what her decision would be.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I help with some of the online stuff.
It's
Like
like a whole family business over there.
yeah, I created like the welcome packet for everyone, help keep that updated. My sister actually joined the tourism board for their town, so
Oh,
hopefully that will
sweet.
drive some more traffic. There's been some learning curves, but no, it's great. It's great. So I think starting closer to home is a good idea. I'm cool
That's
with that one.
that's the hope. That's the idea. Okay. And then I told him I was like, listen, like if this work, listen, I'm not gonna be happy in Hickory. Okay, I love Hickory, but listen to me. We will have a house at the
Whether
beach.
you like it or not, Brenna will own a beach house one day.
But he's just, and we've talked about this before. He's a much more instant gratification kind of person. That's why I like the flips for him. Like
Right.
you put the work in, you do the effort, and like you get that money right then. Like you flip that house, you make that money. Whereas like a long term investment is a long term
Hmm.
investment, you know? And I'm like, listen, babe, you're not going to be able to flip houses forever. And he's like, what do you mean? What are you saying? And I'm just saying, I don't want to work the hours that I work forever. I
Right.
would like to have something set up that I can go on a cruise.
Yeah, and like if you find a property management company to run it, like if you need like you have one at a distance, and it's booking,
Hmm.
do it. Like you can make money and have a
That's the
vacation
idea.
home that you can go to when you want to. That's the other thing. Like my
Hmm.
mom can come stay for a month or two at a time and not have to book a hotel or an Airbnb or like all of us try to cram in my sister's house at the holidays. Like we have room
Yep.
now. So it's
It's
great.
amazing.
It's great. Yeah, she's coming down most of the month of May. She'll be down here. And then we
Nice.
go home in July. So yeah, and she'll be here this week. But no, I like that. I like it. I'm like, so is it the goal for Q2 is to start that process or to have it ready to go at the end of Q2?
I would love to have it ready to go for
Okay.
Q2.
So do you have a property identified then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That you own.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll get coffee. Oh boy.
just just like I'm so like I need to stop because I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. And like what if it is the end of the year before I get this figured out? But listen, I'm just very excited. But
No, you'll be
that's what I'm
fine.
working for. That's
So
my new big thing. Because okay, so this episode is gonna be so long. I'm so sorry, you
it's
guys.
okay.
But
They can
here's the
listen
thing
on two
too.
times speed. We don't talk like
He
Sharon, so they're good.
That's true. Listen, I can only listen to him at like 1.5 because
Yeah.
oof, ooh,
Right?
it's so fast. Anyways, um, but his podcast episodes are usually pretty short and sweet to begin with. Anyways, here's the thing with Hickory as well. This is my market. I have had just this past quarter 3 opportunities where people are like, ugh, I would love to be able to rent an Airbnb for a month or
Mhm.
two and like see the area. I mean, outside of those bookings, which I'm sure that we would get those, bookings to pay for it. But how awesome will it be to have that as a value add
Right.
to clients?
Yep. Hey, come check us out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like ours, we are
Oh
in a
heck, you're
very
pushing
similar
like
area, but in Georgia. There's nothing in this
mm,
town. My
mm-hmm.
mom was very nervous. We're 40 minutes away from Augusta. So what are we going to draw? Well, there's
Right.
a military base nearby. So we get military families coming to visit.
Nice.
We've been booked pretty solid with relief workers after the hurricane. Or even without the hurricane, it was a lot of like tree companies, road repair companies, because there's only one hotel in town and it's
Mm-hmm.
booked. Um, this sounds morbid. Funerals. Family doesn't have a house big enough? Well,
It's
book
true.
ours. Um,
It's true.
there's like a church retreat place nearby we didn't know existed. It's like a Hindu church thing. Um, we book for that. We book weddings, baptisms. Like people don't. My birthday this weekend, we were just talking about this. I have a tiny house. I have 1,000 square feet. My family is rolling in town this weekend. Could we all pack in here? Yes. Would we be happy and comfortable? No. There might be bloodshed. So my mom booked an Airbnb in the next town over, which is similar to Hickory. Why would people want to Airbnb in Dallas?
Right.
This is why. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
vacation towns. So, and you
Right.
have a university in Hickory.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
So,
that's the thing. You've got like graduations, you've
yeah.
got like all of those things. You've got we have a minor league baseball team here too that
Yeah.
is actually pretty popular. There's there is a lot to offer here, and there's so much revitalization going on in Hickory and our little surrounding towns because we're starting to get that. I don't want to say boom, but boom. We're
Yeah.
starting to get more people here. So I
I think it'll do
I'm
well.
excited.
I think it will
I'm
do
excited.
well. I do. And we'll talk about things. I'll give you all our information. You can call my mom and talk to her. Like, she'll tell you what it's like.
Great.
Um, and if you don't have a Costco membership, get one. That would be my other, like, I know it's a hike for you, but get a Costco membership. That's where she gets a bunch of like towels, linens, things like that, because we have had to replace those. But yeah, no, I'm excited for you. I'm excited.
We'll see what
I also have a kitten
happens.
wrestling my feet right now.
That's nice.
Um, yeah, he's in full play mode the last couple days. So, are those all of your Q2?
That's it.
All right.
God, that's yes. Mm-hmm.
I like that you're tracking that
Mm,
you are also aware like, hey, this is the season where I can't necessarily be focused on the closing number as much as I want to be, and I am
right.
still going to. I'm more focused on the consistency because that's what makes sense literally this
Mm-hmm.
season of my life.
Yep.
Um okay, I'm shooting high. I would like 6 to 9 closings.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 scheduled. I had 3, 1 terminated is what it is. Um I have some other clients in the hopper. No one crazy, serious, crazy, gotta go right now. But I'm going to really roll out my monthly newsletter. I am going to make it, excuse me, community focused like yours. So I'm going to put it into like a flow desk or something and really work on promoting that. Um, I'm still going to continue following listing leads. I'm going to give that another, like this quarter to truly work it. And if I'm
Yeah.
not seeing if I'm really working it as much as possible, then I will cancel that at the end of Q2. Um, I'm going to start a referral VIP club. So I heard this idea on a podcast the other day, and
Okay.
it's a great way to build a referral business where when someone sends you a referral, you once a quarter send them, you call it your VIP club or whatever you want to call it, like a cool gift package. And
Mhm.
it's something usable. Her budget is $25 per person. That includes the shipping per quarter. So it's $100 a year. Um, like one was like an olive oil bottle with like like it was a great idea. And I was like, that's because then you nurture them. And when they get just before that fourth gift, you send a, hey, your VIP status is about to run
Is
up. Do you like,
Do you
it
know
opens,
anybody?
right, it opens a conversation of, can you think of anyone, or is there anything we could do to get, referrals back on track? And then there's another step to it, and I can't remember exactly right now. I have to go back to my notes of like, um, for another element, and I can't remember, and they only get one per year. But so I'm gonna get that. So
This makes me think of like a client giant.
yeah, it's very similar, but it's
Mhm.
more personalized to you
Mhm.
than Client Giant would be. Um, I am going to continue my pop buys. So I've got to figure out, I was kind of working on this last night. I'm going to do one pop buy for Q4 for my clients and my sphere of influence. I'm not sure if I want to do a spring cleaning kit or a hot honey thing, like the market's hot, but it doesn't have to be sticky kind of fun thing.
Mhm.
Um, I am going to do the attorney packets. I have all of the supplies. I just need to get stuff printed and put together. So this quarter, there's an agent locally whose wife makes homemade sourdough. I'm going to work with her to get mini loaves, which there's still like a full size loaf of bread,
Mhm.
of her sourdough, get that list ready. And this quarter, I will be doing pop buys to start marketing to the local like divorce and estate planning attorneys. I'm going to continue my deal of the week email. I would like to step into Facebook and Google ads a little more. We're going to talk about that with another thing that I skipped on this list that I know you're looking at, but I don't want to just lump it in here.
Okay.
Um, I am going to focus more on my 5 Mile Famous. So, and some of these things are that, like that monthly newsletter, the deal of the week,
Mhm.
um, more like local business videos, a weekly event schedule, um, local news. I'm thinking of shipping. We have a local baseball team. And actually, I want to talk to you about how you did your magnet sign up last year for, I think it was your school calendar. I want to do
Yep.
something similar to that. So I'm not just ordering a bunch of them and sending them out,
Mhm.
because that has been the talk of Gaston County this week because our mascot is terrifying. Um, and I mean, it's good when it reaches like the Savannah Bananas kind of make fun of you, but say, hey, it's a genius marketing thing. Um, And especially Jesse, the owner of Savannah Bananas, is from Gastonia. He had a baseball team here before he bought the Savannah Bananas. So,
That's awesome.
um, but I'm also going to continue with the community outreach. So the teacher of the month, the closing donations. I didn't put it in here. I probably do need to do something to pick my farming back up. I don't know exactly what that will be, other than I think that monthly newsletter is
Mhm.
might go digital or be like, um, I'll do door hangers or something with a QR code to get people to sign up for it and not
Yep.
necessarily hand delivering it every month. Maybe I'll do a postcard because hand delivering it to that neighborhood was a lot. Um,
Oh, especially with like I think you said like 300 houses.
yeah.
What are the weekly events that you're
So like the
talking about doing?
weekly like community events, like what's happening in our neighborhood.
Oh, I got you.
I'm not
Okay,
hosting.
not events that you're planning.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Um,
ma'am, that is.
right. Right. I did not put a client event in here.
Mhm.
Will I have one this quarter? Possibly. But I truly need to focus on building my business back before, and I know that's a great element to help do that. But
Mhm.
my goal this quarter is to reach outside of the people who already know me.
Sure.
So I'm focused more on like the newsletter, maybe I'll add hers. And I took some notes on what you were doing for my continued sphere of influence and previous clients, but I
Mhm.
need to be outside of that sphere. So one of the big things I did yesterday, whew, we talked about accountability. I hired a coach. I joined an official training program that is going to cost me $9,000. Let's just lay it out there.
Is it a lump sum or do you pay monthly?
Monthly, thank God.
Okay.
Um, I could pay a lump sum, but I chose
Mm-hmm.
monthly, um, because I didn't know what's coming up with Mabel's health. Hopefully it's a one and done, but just in case, I didn't want to be out all that cash.
Mm-hmm.
So that picks up. I have 3 weeks of it for free. I negotiated that because I knew birthday, Mabel's surgery, all the things. I officially start that on the 21st, but I am like onboarding and stuff and watching classes and things between now and then.
Nice.
So, right. So we might see some of this change. And
Mm-hmm.
that's also why I was like, I don't want to lock in. It sounds like a lot, but these are all things mostly that are behind the scenes because I don't know what coaching is going to require of me.
Right.
And these are all things, or mostly, that I can do in off hours. I can build an email late at night. So if they need me out making calls during hours or doing what, like, I was very selective working through this last night. Um, and I am focused on outside of my current sphere. My sphere and my clients will be nurtured, but maybe not in an event. I think that will be a Q3 end of summer thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to attract 2 agents. I'd love to say more, but I do need to focus on my business right now. So I am going to attend the bi-weekly trainings. I'm going to move my coffee and collab to bi-weekly instead of
Mm-hmm.
every week, I think. For so many reasons. I need more time to be in my business, and every week I think was too much for some people. So we'll see.
Yep.
Um, I'm going to try to attend more local realtor events. I haven't been doing those a lot, and I need to. Um, I'll continue the monthly meetup for our real agents, which this month will get announced today. And I need to post more about that on social media, also with the weekly Friday collab. I'm going to order and use more of our real swags. Like I have a water bottle I'm going to start carrying instead of my Stanley. And share more of our content, like what's happening with the firm, what are other agents doing, stuff like that. Um, and then our goal, I
Yes.
lowered it without talking to you. So if we want to push it back up, because I do think we have been getting better about posting things, about commenting things, I lowered it to 100 for this quarter.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I think getting 100 new podcast followers is great.
Right? And I think if we overshoot that, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't, from a mental health and psychological aspect, didn't want to shoot for 250 again and feel like we were failures. Um, but I
Well, because
did.
say, listen, this idea, this 12-week year, is not to be like, oh shoot, I suck.
Right,
Not. That's
right.
never the point. So, and I think, say, we are still a baby podcast. Like,
We
quite
are. We
frankly,
are a baby.
it's a year and a half, just about a
Almost,
year
yeah.
and a half now. Um, we're still a baby
Mhm.
podcast, and the downloads that we're getting, like if you Google it, it'd be like, oh, what is the average podcast? It's not very much.
No.
We are doing great
Yeah,
on
and
this
considering
podcast.
like we don't, and maybe this is something we need to put in here, we don't have like a Facebook page to run ads from. We
Mm-mm.
have an Instagram and we share on our personal Facebooks and I share on my TikTok.
Yep.
One of the things I did add, and we've kind of already started this, when I went to Dallas last week with all of the information I exchanged with other agents, like my digital business card, has our podcast link on it.
Yeah,
So,
my link tree has one,
and then
and
you're going to an event next. Did you get the cards? It's blurry right now, so once we stop
yeah, I
recording,
know
you'll
it's
have to show
blurry,
me.
but
So yeah,
it's very
so you
cute.
gotta let me know what I owe you for that too. Brenna's a speaker at an event and she's putting some swag bags together and it's gonna have a card in there with our information on it. So
Hmm.
hopefully that will give us an uptick. Um, so yeah, so those are my goals, my tactics. I'm going to print them out and hang them on my wall. They are being built into my Trello and a daily printable checklist.
Hmm.
That's the goal. I have to go to a home inspection and a dentist appointment, but that's one of my things for today to get done.
It's awesome.
And yeah, and like I said, they might change because coaching might step in and say, nope,
You don't want to do any of that,
right,
right?
recycle this. If that happens, I'll give you guys a quick update, but I won't know for at least a couple weeks, if not a month, like once I get into that.
How that's going. But
Yeah.
that's exciting. Big changes. We've got so much stuff going
Yes.
on, and it's Q2.
It's cute
So,
too.
wherever you are in your business, evaluate what you did this past quarter. If it was great, great. Keep hustling. If it wasn't great, great. keep hustling,
Right?
you know? Like that's the biggest thing. I've heard so much recently about people that are out there just flailing around and just the shiny object syndrome, and like, maybe I need a brokerage change, maybe I need a part-time job,
Right.
maybe you need to focus on what's working for you, because and maybe that's cold calls, maybe that's community events, maybe you need to find what works for you and work that,
Yes. And
because
I think you made a good point of the shiny object syndrome. And one of the things I did, be real with yourself.
mhm,
Go through what did you actually and what did you actually not do?
mhm.
How much time are you actually spending in front of the television versus doing other things? How much
Right, and
time were
here's
you
the thing.
actually networking and prospecting?
And here's the thing about not hitting goals, because I feel like both of us have a tendency of hitting, like, setting
Big ones.
pretty,
We are
pretty
people who like
big
to achieve
goals
things. Yes.
for, like, especially for people with lives, right?
Hmm.
Like with animals and dogs and other responsibilities that we have. Like, listen, and I know that there's agents out there that are solo agents that are cranking numbers much bigger than mine.
Right.
I understand that,
And good for
but
them.
absolutely, I think that the biggest thing with goal setting, though, is being aware of where you are in your life and not setting a goal because somebody else set that same goal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or like
Like,
we've said before, success has a different definition for everyone.
yes.
My success is not having to wear a pinstripe suit or Chanel every day to sell houses, and that's just not who I am. Would I love to increase my price point? Absolutely. But do I want to be necessarily a super luxury? No. I know what I want my life to look like, and not having to ask my mom to pay my mortgage is currently successful for me. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that's where I am. I know where I want to be, and I'm still working to get there. But just
Yeah,
remember,
and
like, it
that's,
looks different for everyone, and that's okay.
oh my God, I'm going to end it right there. Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
We just finished another episode of Contracts and Chaos, but believe me, the chaos does not stop here. So check out the show notes for our email address and where to follow us on socials, and we will see you next week.